Living up in a barium days, at airplanes painting a silver haze, replacing our blue with shades of grays. I've caught a bad case of metallic malaise. Oh, rains down to the river, the frosts and the dew, green fields drinking unearthly brews, growing dinners for billions of me's and you.
Hello, I'm Noelle West, and I discovered chemtrails late in the game, I think. About 2 years ago, I noticed clouds in the sky that were not normal, lines, big X's, and I contacted Deborah Whitman with Environmental Voices and got working with her on this. I'm happy to tell anyone about it. I have cards printed up, and I can wake people up, hopefully. This is a very big problem that is being completely ignored by national media. Thank you.
Thank you. And would you like to say something?
Sure. I'm Jennifer Martin. I'm also a friend of Deborah Whitman, and she turned me on to Environmental Voices, which also brings forward a lot of issues like chemtrails. Chemtrails are something that are so harmful to our health. People aren't aware of all the repercussions. When you look up in the sky and you see crosses and grid marks on the sky, that is not natural. That was put there for a reason. Now they tell us that it's for global warming, but in reality it actually increases global warming. And the ingredients in a chemtrail are really bad for you. Aluminum, barium, strontium, all kinds of horrible chemicals. And then we wonder why we have a 300% increase in autism and Alzheimer's and other neurological disorders. And I think it's because, in part, with the toxicity of the chemtrails, which have to stop. So that's why I'm here protesting that.
Thank you so much. And you know, it's affecting everybody's immune system, but primarily the young children and the elderly are affected even more so. And now we're having fires all over the United States, and especially, aren't there about 13 of them going on here in California, and in Oregon there's several. And we know it's because of the amount of aluminum that's now in the tree bark and the leaves and the soil, the grasses. And aluminum is an accelerant. They use it in ammunition, they use it in fireworks, so it makes sense. That's why they're having so much trouble trying to get these fires out. So there's a lot of consequences from this, and I thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
It's going to be an earth. I mean, is yours going to die before you eat
cilantro? You know the cilantro? That's what they did in Sacramento on Channel 10.
Yeah, they'll bring it up once in a while.
They did it, and they actually were really kind about it. But they said that that they followed up and that they just they kind of brushed it off. They didn't say it was weird, but they kind of just brushed it off and said, "Well, we don't know, and nobody will tell us."
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Well,
Meanwhile, the back of their set is like light blue and dark blue with these lines
you know
on
what?
it.
I wrote to,
All the sets are going that
I wrote
way.
to Channel 10 and I said, "How dare you put that on there?"
Yeah.
Because our Sunday morning is.
I wrote 42 letters to the Sierra Club and the Earth Defense Foundation and all of these other supposed environmental protection agencies that are being paid with our tax dollars, by the way, to exist. And they all came back with the printed talking points that the DOD gives them. Here, if anybody asks about chemtrails, here's what you say. Bump. And I got the exact same letter from every single one of them. So if you're not being told what to say, why do every single one of you give me the exact same response?
Exactly. They know.
Yeah. You know what?
Because they know.
I wrote to Barbara Boxer and Diane Feinstein 3 years ago.
Yes.
With pictures of all the chemtrails over my house in Roseville. They wrote back and said, and I quote, "There's nothing we can do about it."
Mm-hmm. Wow. Because they answer to even higher power, these politicians. And the other thing I wanted to say is we're tipping towards 51%. And when we get to 51%, everyone's going to know about chemtrails because it's going to be widely exposed. but we're just working on the 51%. That's all we need,
Well,
and we're getting there.
It's the 100th monkey.
It's the 100th monkey.
And people that I've talked to, when I say, you know, they're just spraying again, they go, yeah, I know. And they know about it, they see it, but they don't know consciously what it is.
They don't know consciously.
and
And then they have to
afraid.
do something about it if they do.
Right, and they're afraid to have to know.
Because it means they have to change.
They have to change, and
Right.
they have to know that they've been lied to.
And they have to explain to their children why they're not doing anything when all this is going into their lungs and their bloodstreams
And their food.
and their food and everything.
And their
It's a
kids
very
are
big thing.
autistic, and they're, you know, it just goes on and on and on.
It's killing the future.
Yep.
It is. And I think it's by design.
It is by design.
Well, yeah, absolutely. The other thing that it's doing is it's causing an increase in methane gas in the ocean.
Yes.
So you know, there's more and more pockets of methane all throughout all of our oceans.
Yep.
And when those methane bubbles pop, it kills everything in a 5-mile vicinity. It sucks down boats. It's you know.
Yes.
So the Bermuda Triangle is a direct result of aerosol spraying. It's a direct result of geoengineering, and there are going to be more and more of those all over our oceans. And the decreased environmental oxygen as a result of that is starting to hurt everybody. I mean, we're at a point now that if we don't stop this, there will be no coming back. It'll be game over for planet Earth. Game over.
When I was in college, I read a book, and it was because I was in environmental studies, and one of the book was "The Earth Abides," and it was a story of a catastrophic virus that hit the planet. Within 5 days, everybody, almost everybody on the planet died, and it turns out it was because people who were immune were people who had been bitten by rattlesnakes, some particular in the venom. But it catalogs how the Earth brings itself back into balance. It's not pretty, but it will bring itself back into balance, and the planet will go on. You know, but
If they stop.
it's going to go on no matter what. What it turns out to be is another story. Is it going to, you know, are we going to turn this into Mars?
Back in
Yeah, will there be life on
1971
Earth?
Back in 1971, there's a movie many of us probably remember called The Anonymous Strain. And the last 10 minutes of that movie gives you a clear indication of what they were doing, what they were planning on doing. It's all about seeding the clouds. They can make it rain, they can make it drought. They own the weather.
Yep.
And this is, you can no longer look up and say what a beautiful day God gave us today. God didn't give us this weather. This is now man-made weather.
As was Hurricane Katrina, all man-made
And directed.
and directed.
Yeah.
And Fukushima.
And Fukushima
as well.
man-made. Yep.
Yeah. And Fukushima was a direct result of, you know, a HARP strike that they miscalculated because there was
They didn't miscalculate. They did it on purpose. You know why? They were mad at Japan for
Well, I
giving
know.
Iran nuclear.
I know, and they also tried to extort $80 billion out of Japan, and Japan refused to pay it.
Exactly.
But they didn't mean to hit the reactor. They didn't mean to hit as close. They miscalculated, and that was because a certain guy was supposed to send the coordinates based on the day, and they were gonna manipulate the coordinates with the date, and he sent it a day late. So they got the wrong coordinates, and they hit Fukushima and caused the tsunami that they caused. They caused the tsunami on purpose, but they didn't mean to cause it at the reactor and bring the reactor down. They didn't mean to do that.
But now
So-
we're getting the radiation.
Oh,
Two
yeah.
years later, the radiated water has been flowing for 2 years. It's all up and down the west coast, and we are suffering for it.
But it's not slowing down global warming as much as it's destroying the ozone layer and causing very, very drastic consequences to our ecosystems. I've got almost no insects in it. My bumblebees are gone, my honeybees are almost completely gone. I found dead skater bugs on this rock. My birds are almost completely gone, and I turned my front porch light on last week for 4 hours and there was nothing there when I went back out. So this is having very dire consequences on our ecosystems, the little bitty parts of the ecosystems that people don't think about. And it does. And it's also very bad for our bodies. Aluminum causes dementia, cognitive problems.
Now!
Clean skies!
What? What?
Clean skies!
Now!
I'd wear a mask, but for days, days, the aluminum will fog up their spreads and stays, messing with nature in unforeseen ways, making me angry, puzzled and crazed. Oh, rains down to the rivers, frosts and the dews, green fields drinking unearthly brews, growing dinners for billions of me's and you. Who are the pilots? What do they know? Where do they come from? And where do they go? Do they wrap up a birthday and tie on a bow? Do they think about children at play down below? Rains down to the river, the frosts and the dews, green fields drinking unearthly brews, growing dinners for billions of me's and you. The general's dressing knots on his tie, preparing to order his pilots to fly. Tons of aluminum sludge through the sky, with no word of warning, no wave of goodbye. Oh, rains down to the rivers, the frost and the dew. Who asked the question? And did we refuse to be fouled by those who imagine they've nothing to lose?